So, again, all of that was nothing to do with the old financial system. It completely circumvents it. It totally bypasses the legal whack-a-mole that's being attempted right now in order to create this decentralized system that is going to be, looks like it to me, the main challenger to the centralized AI hell world that the Team Illuminati Overlord is going to try to shove down our throats. So, going back to, Atlantis and Bitcoin and Moloch and Lucifer here.
Light discussion over here.
So I want to pull this back to evolution of civilizations, looking at the instrument of expansion again. So we've got we're in this age of conflict. This Western civilization is facing this fourth age of conflict in its evolution of civilizations. Nima and I have been arguing very hard that we have the very, very real potential, and we're honestly on the trajectory to a fifth age of expansion. And that the battle is happening right now, and that our hypothesis, I'm not saying I'd put my golden stamp seal of approval that this is 100% going to be the case, but my hypothesis is that the new age of expansion, the new instrument of expansion is starting to form in the cryptosphere, and that example that we just described about mineral is a really good indicator of, okay, what is the instrument of expansion? It is the thing that creates surplus, saves surplus, and reinvests that surplus into new invention. Well, if the old financial system's not doing that, but this new financial system can come and people can say, okay, here's all the savings flying around. How do I utilize that to create a project? Now, again, this thing where, hey, we'll use your Bitcoin to buy machines to get you more Bitcoin. That's not exactly, going to lead us to a new age of expansion. But that's the principle. That's a project that worked that way, where we can say, okay, can we utilize that, Nima? For example, what if we created a new public, or I don't want to use the word public. If we created a new educational system, or the seed of a new educational system that utilized finances through that method, where people could get an education to be successful within the world here and now without 15,000 hours on top of a 4-year degree that puts them permanently in student debt.
Well, yeah.
I'm just wildly pulling ideas out of my head that this new, what looks like going to be an instrument of expansion can direct us into by completely circumventing, bypassing the old one.
Right. Or what if because we have this big AI machinery coming down on us, what if we created an AI that could be funded through cryptocurrency? Yeah,
are you pulling the website up right now?
Yeah.
If the mineral wasn't a good example, this is.
Yeah, I was just looking for it. I wanted to make it smooth, but it's fucking Brave search, man. It's like it's useless as hell.
More.org. MOR.org. I got it right here.
It was. Right.
But I want you to share it because you're better at scrolling around and clicking stuff than I am while we're talking.
Is that right?
That is right. I'll talk and forget about it. It's there.
I'm the scroller. Yeah, got it. Okay. So for example, we have this AI domination system coming down on us. What if we could just compete with it using cryptocurrency? And I just shared it here, and we see it now.
Okay, there it is.
So guess what? This is what Morpheus AI is doing. It's collecting. So they have several steps: capital, coders, compute, community.
I'm sorry, but before you get into what exactly Morpheus is doing, I want to describe real quick here. Let me go back to here. Why this is important, because we've got, like you said, the AI dominance coming through, and that AI dominance is essentially monolithic data capitalist crazy entities controlling the AI, acting like it's unbiased when in reality it's got whatever biases that its programmers program into it. I mean, just look at that new one that Google came out with. Bard was it? They can't even draw a white person, right?
Yeah.
I mean, the AI that's coming out is so obviously biased, and that this is the thing that's supposed to be coming to replace local government and start telling us what to do, and that we're supposed to give up more and more of our control to this stupid machine.
And they're going to try to make it happen. They're going to try to happen by government decree, like they did the COVID mandates. They're going to decree that this is the AI that you're going to use for your children's education, or these are the approved AIs, right? We talked with David Johnson about the executive order that was recently signed.
I was just going to bring it up. Yeah.
Right. So industry capture or whatever, what is it called?
Well, the executive order was essentially, I mean, and it's like 3 months ago now or something, that the Biden administration came out with an executive order that said, in order to be a functioning AI, you have to hit these list of requirements, which was totally regulatory capture.
Your driver's license. So, but this was last year, I think already. It was in October, if I'm not mistaken. This executive order where the government will basically put its stamp of approval on the proper AI, and then they'll start just telling you this is the AI that you have to use to get your kids educated and all this stuff. It's going to take a while, but this is their plan, and it's starting to come together. Now, what if there was a crypto-funded AI that couldn't be stopped?
What can we contrast against that? Okay, bring it back up.
So we have Morpheus AI, which is funded through cryptocurrency. You can go to Coinbase, buy some Ethereum, send it to your MetaMask wallet, and stake Ether. So they take your Ether, they stake it in the Ether network, and they earn the staking fees from that. So this is how they fund themselves. And then you get Morpheus tokens in return as a reward. They create a
new token, right?
Yeah, they're creating a new token that will then later on be used to get improved services within the Morpheus network. And whatever. I don't think they're fully decided on yet. There's going to be some kind of reward mechanism where you can use the more token to utilize the Morpheus AI more efficiently than if you were to use it without the tokens or whatever.
And the cool thing about this is there's no organization, right? I mean, this executive order, Dave was pointing this out to us, is an executive order targeted, if your organization is going to use an AI, it has to follow these rules. Well, there is literally no organization here. There's no LLC. It's the whole thing is built on such a decentralized network that
founders anonymous.
Yeah. Yes. And I think it's important that we point out what this AI is supposed to do versus what all the other AIs are attempting to do right now. The other AIs are right. I mean, Google's or Microsoft's or whatever. They're highly centralized. They're pretending to be unbiased, but they have whatever biases the programmers program into them. And these are the AIs that are supposed to start controlling more and more of your life, where all your data goes up to these, centralized clouds where they can control everything from that centralized cloud. What Dave was talking to us about Morpheus was this AI is your personal assistant. It learns from you, it keeps your data with you, and helps you do things that help you, which is different from Nima's personal assistant that does things that helps Nima, and they're all disconnected and all decentralized, right? Which AI is going to be, if we move forward and everyone's got to use AI just like everyone's got to have a damn smartphone now, right? If we're moving into a future that looks like that, is it going to be a more free future if Google and Microsoft control everything with their AIs? Or is it going to be, I'm clicking around while we're, or is it going to be see? This is why I can't be the guy sharing screens, because it just totally interrupts me. Okay, Nima's got, I think, the white paper pulled up.
Yeah.
Is it going to be this total centralized control AI, or is it going to be an AI that's completely decentralized where you can't steal each other's data, and it's your personal assistant to help benefit you? Now, per the executive order, if our interpretation is correct, which I believe it is, which was in effect at Whack-A-Mole, right? Okay, these little AIs they're not allowed to exist. Only the big ones that we say could exist. Well, you can't play Whack-A-Mole with this because there's no fucking organization.
Right.
It's decentralized.
the author of the white paper is anonymous. Of the original Morpheus white paper is anonymous. There's no organization. Everyone can download the client, run it on their computers. Everyone can stake their ETH. Everyone can.
And then, sorry, it's funded outside of the traditional financial system.
Yeah.
It's funded with Ether.
Exactly. So that's very powerful. And also remember the sentence down here, by putting the individual at the heart, we move toward the resolution of the alignment problem. Each day, the user confirms their smart agent is benefiting them and acting according to their goals by approving the actions it prompts the user to take. All secured with cryptography that is impossible for an AI to generate or fake. So basically, this is a very tentative AI that learns with you. It's not an AI that hoovers up a crap ton of data, adds some idiot's algorithm to it, and then produces some stupid ass output that you're supposed to accept. It's like, the founding fathers were African Americans. Men and women are hard to distinguish. There's no clear blah, blah, blah.
No, what was the part? What is someone posed a moral question in one of these things, which was like, is it what's worse, misgendering a trans person or oh god, what the heck was it? Misgendering a trans person or stopping pedophilia? And the AI is like, well, that's difficult to answer. Like, come on.
Yeah. So yeah.
I do want to mention how this is funded. Because I think we glossed over the details and it's not exactly clear. You took a while to explain it to me, but I think I got it now. So when we say it's funded by Ether, and that me and Nima right now are using Ether to fund it, we didn't spend our Ether. We didn't say, hey, here's an Ether. We're going to give it to you so you can fund this thing. Right? That's not what happened. What we did is we staked it. And so with the staking Ether, it takes the Ether that you have and it earns an Ether return, right? You want me to show that screen?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they have the total deposits here listed.
So, let's just take one Ether, for example. So I take my one Ether, I stake it, so I get a return, but I give that return to the Morpheus project.
Exactly.
Right? Now, so basically, if I have one Ether and it's creating, 1/100th of an Ether a day, probably not that much.
You kind of have to explain what staking is, though, if you want to explain this.
Yeah, you're probably better at explaining it than I am. Go ahead.
Yeah. So in the world of Ethereum, there's this concept called proof of stake. There's the two main competing methods of achieving consensus on a blockchain are proof of work and proof of stake. Proof of work is the Bitcoin model where miners use like very advanced chips and a lot of electrical power to solve complex problems and then prove to the world they've gone through the work necessary to find the solution to a problem, and they get to add a new ledger entry to the blockchain. That still has to follow all the rules of the system. So if they solve the algorithm, if they solve the puzzle, and then add a false block, they lose the block, and they've lost all the efforts and energy expended to get into that. So in the world of Ether, they use a consensus mechanism called proof of stake, where you don't have miners, expending electricity, etc., to solve some complex puzzles, but instead you have all the holders of Ethereum are given the opportunity to lock their Ether up in a smart contract, and then with that Ether that they've locked up in proportional amount, they get to vote on whether or not a new block can be added to the blockchain or not. Once again, the block has to comply with all the valid protocol rules. If it doesn't, then your Ether actually get slashed, the ether that you stake. So you get punished. So you don't get to just roguely do whatever you want within the system, but you get to vote on whether or not a new block can be added, and depending on how much ether you've staked. In practice, most people contribute their ether to a staking node, and then some organization that's more equipped to actually make these voting decisions will do them. But you can also technically, you can run your own staking node if you want. But this is, so basically, instead of mining, you stake. And for the stake, you get a reward. So what's the mining reward in the world of Bitcoin is a staking reward that you earn as a staker in ETH. So as people conduct transactions on the Ether blockchain, they pay fees. Those fees go to the stakers who facilitate adding new blocks to the blockchain system. So that staking fee that you and I, we can earn that. You can earn like 2.5% by staking your ETH at the moment. But if you give your ETH to Morpheus, you basically stake your ETH. You give it to Morpheus, and they stake it within the Ethereum network. This is basically how it works. Not exactly, but it's kind of, because technically, actually what you're doing is when you're staking on Morpheus, if in case anyone's interested, you're using your ether to buy liquid staked ETH from Lido. Lido is a company that takes your ETH and handles the staking node and all that, and gives you, in return, gives you a currency called liquid staked ETH. So it's kind of confusing, but this is a version of ETH that you can still transfer around on your MetaMask wallet or whatever, but it also earns an interest automatically for you. So you don't have to take care of the staking. But so then you give that liquid staked ETH to Morpheus, and Morpheus will start earning your staking rewards, and that's the money they collect. You see down here, it says current daily reward. Oh no, that's the reward they pay out. But it's probably in some sort of amount also that they have every day from these staked ethers here that they use to fund their project. And you can withdraw your ether anytime you want. You'll stop earning the Morpheus token, but you have all your ether back. You didn't spend.
That's the important point here, I think, is that basically, I mean, like, imagine you had $100 and you stuck it in an account that paid 2%. And the way that you're going to decide to help fund somebody is you never give away your $100. You're just saying, hey, I'm going to stick it in this account and I'll go give you the 2%. Now, an additional thing happens on top of that, which is you get a Morpheus token.
Yep.
Right. So you get a new crypto asset, and then I mean, I don't know what they're going to do with it in the future, and I'm not sure they fully know what they're going to do with it in the future yet. But that crypto asset is going to be needed to help utilize whatever is going to go on in this AI network, right?
Exactly.
So on one hand, you're funding them by giving them interest that you could have collected, but at the same hand, they're giving you a token that's specific to that project that, I mean, presuming the project's going to work in the future, which is what you're betting on, right? That token's going to be valuable.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? So, again, all of that was nothing to do with the old financial system. It completely circumvents it. It totally bypasses the legal whack-a-mole that's being attempted right now in order to create this decentralized system that is going to be, looks like it to me, the main challenger to the centralized AI hell world that the Team Illuminati Overlord is going to try to shove down our throats.
And so like David Johnson was saying, the US is becoming very uncompetitive because of their behavior right now, because of this executive order and all this stuff. So AI people are going to go to where, just as they did with crypto, they're going to go where the environment is friendly towards them. Maybe they'll go to Dubai, maybe they'll go to UK. Apparently the UK is not so bad at the moment in terms of AI laws.
For now.
Yeah, for now. Yeah. It's hard to imagine that they will stay. But anyway, you have to be flexible. You can move around. I mean, there's teams that do that, like the Telegram team. They say they're located in Dubai, but in reality they move around. They're flexible. They work from home. This is what's being done to circumvent the powers that be at the moment.
If everybody who's watching this now or recording could like, share, and subscribe it helps us out a lot.
Yeah.
I hate saying it, but it's just true.